Guys, it's Justin and welcome back to another video. So in today's video, let's talk about purchasing rentals versus rental arbitrage, specifically for Airbnb. Now I can go on and on for probably an hour to see the differences and the pros and cons and what you should start off with. But for today's video, let's do a basic skim down of what basically purchasing rentals is and basically doing a rental arbitrage. So let's talk about what the difference is. So purchasing rentals is basically buying a home or a vacation home or your second home. It's going to be the similar thing where you're buying and then you're owning a home and then you're going to list it on Airbnb. So that process is going through loans and stuff like that. And rental arbitrage, on the other hand, is actually renting a property from someone else. It could be a tenant, or it can be a landlord, or it can be a property management company, and then listing it on Airbnb and making cash flow from Airbnb. So those are the two main differences between purchasing rentals and rental arbitrage. So with that being said, let's go ahead and start talking about what the cost of the differences of both is. So number one, cost of purchasing rentals is one, you're gonna have to take a loan, which is gonna be sort of like your mortgage. So when you look at rental properties, especially for Airbnb, all lenders are usually gonna require you at least minimum 20% down or 25% down, depending on your income, your debt to income ratio, and all the other juice that they need from you. So yes, you're gonna have to put a lot of money down. So let's say you're talking about $100,000 home or a condo that you're trying to rent out for Airbnb, then you're gonna have to look at putting 20% down plus about 5 to 6% of lender's costs and all the closing costs and all that stuff. So all in all, you're gonna have to invest about $25,000 to $26,000 to purchase one property to list onto Airbnb to make money. Now on the other side of this, there's something called rental arbitrage, where actually it's basically where you do a rent, so basically where you actually don't have to put as much upfront cost of renting out a person. So imagine yourself going to an apartment complex and you trying to rent an apartment. Well, all they're gonna ask you is probably 2 months of rent up front, and then all the other deposits and some other requirements that they require you to have. So in that sense, you only have to say, let's say your rent is $2,000 and the landlord or the apartment complex or anywhere they say agrees to the agreement that you are going to do a rental arbitrage. Then you're going to put 2 months down. So let's say your rent is $2,000. Then you'll put down $6,000 down that you will get back once your rent is done, and then also the cost of the deposits and stuff like that. And I'm not including the furniture costs and all that other stuff, but it would only cost you about $6,000 to $8,000 compared to $26,000 to purchase a home. So now that we talked about cost, let's go ahead and talk about the legal differences. So this is going to be a whole topic of itself, but I'll keep it brim and as quick as I can. But one, buying a rental property, you're going to have to do contracts. When you purchase a home, you also have to do a buyer's agreement with your realtor to make sure that you're going to be working with that realtor. On top of that, you're going to have to sign something called a sales and purchase agreement form, which is basically you putting an offer onto that home. So there are a lot of different contracts that will have to be included with purchasing a rental, but you also have a realtor that will be in your hands to make sure everything goes well. But those are costs of having something like a lawyer or having a realtor be with you. Now, rental arbitrage is a little different because this contract is between you and the landlord. So this is going to be a legal document where both of you guys are going to be in agreement. It could be a landlord or it could be a rental company or a property management company where you have exclusive rights to rent out that property to make cash flow, and whatever you guys will agree upon to where you will keep the property into good and active state. So in turns, it basically means that you're going to keep up with the property. If there's any maintenance issues and stuff like that, you will be the one in charge of it. On top of that, you will also make sure that everything goes well with the property and the property does not burn down. So that is some of the legal agreements that you'll have to sign if you do rental arbitrage. And there also be applications that you and your landlord or the person who owns the property is going to have to agree upon. And this is something where a lawyer can be helpful or have a mentor that will guide you through the process. All right, now that we talked about the legal issues, let's go ahead and talk about time and scaling. This is the biggest one, I would say, because obviously no one wants to get into a business and not be able to scale. So this is where it's important. So number one, with purchase rentals, this one is going to be a little harder to scale because you're going to need equity, or you're going to need hard-earned cash. And finding $40,000, $50,000 laying around your bank account every month is going to be hard, and you're going to have to make your money. And once you have enough money, then you can put it into another property, and to another property, and to another property. You can also do a cash out refinance where you take 80% of the value of the home and do that. But it does take some time to scale because your first couple are going to take a lot of time and a lot of cash and equity for you to scale that business, where you're maybe going to have to partner up with other people, or you're going to have to take loans or PPP loans and stuff like that, where you can find upfront cash so you can put that money into another property. Now, with rental arbitrage though, rental arbitrage is a little different. Rental arbitrage is very different because in terms of scaling, I would say you can scale it very fast to the point where one property will get you 2, and then 2 properties will get you 4, and you can double it and scale it really quickly to the point where you don't have to worry about cash. Because if you think about it, a property, when you do a rental arbitrage, including like furniture costs and everything, would only cost you about $10,000 to $15,000 to get you onto the next property. And for most people who, let's say, make $100,000 or $120,000 or have extra money on the side, can have about $10,000 saved up to put into their next property. So in that terms, it is a better and easier way to scale compared to buying a home and having to put down payment, the closing costs, all that juice, where you don't have to put 20% down, just the rent and 2 months and whatever the deposits they ask for. On top of that, the furniture cost. All right. So with that being said, the cost is one of those where if you have the 20% down payment, then go ahead and work on purchasing it, because you'll still build equity. On top of that, you'll also be making cash flow. But if you're squeezing money by $10,000 to $20,000 and that's all you want to put down to start making cash flow, then going the rental arbitrage sector is a little bit more easier to get into than going and purchasing your own home or a rental home to rent out. Now, with the legal difficulties, this is one where it's going to be easier for you to just purchase a home and basically put it on Airbnb, because one, your realtor is going to do all that. They're going to go through the contracts with you. They're going to do all the agreements with you, the sales agreement. That's all dependent on the realtor's job. And so that's where their commission comes from. So in terms of if you're going through legal difficulties, having a realtor on your side is very easy, and they should be, if they know what they're doing, the process gets very smooth and easy. But with rental arbitrage, you sort of have to know what you're getting yourself into. You got to know your own contracts. You got to know what you're applying for, what you need, and all that back end stuff where there's a lot of steps and processes where you want to make sure you do to get yourself protected, and also the landlord is also protected, or the property management company is protected. So these are things that if you are looking at legal difficulties, purchasing rental is way easier than doing a rental arbitrage. But we are actually in the making of a course to do rental arbitrage for Airbnb. Interested, we're going to have a link in the description box. You can be on a wait list for our rental arbitrage course, where I'll explain the differences and go more in detailed on how to get started with rental arbitrage with only about $10,000 and start scaling in other states and being able to have units and all that good stuff and make money. So let's go on to time and scale. If you're looking to scale faster, obviously you can scale with both, but easier is with rental arbitrage. If you're looking to partner up, get some loans and stuff like that, you can scale up with purchasing also. But in terms of personally what I choose over the other, and I do purchasing and I also do the rental arbitrage sector, I rather choose rental arbitrage. I actually got started purchasing, and that one was a little tough because I had to put a lot of my time and equity into a property, when on rental arbitrage sector I only have to put about $10,000 all full in cash. Actually, not even in full in cash, because I used my business credit card and with a 0% APR. So with all that fun juice, I didn't even have to pay out of pocket other than furniture cost, which I used the Next 60 account to basically have the first guest pay for the furniture cost. So scalability wise, having rental arbitrage is actually better, and you don't have to have a lot of cash, because the point of rental arbitrage is to accumulate that cash, spend it, and get another one and get another one, to the point where it's very scalable and have a lot of money coming in as cash flow. So if you're interested more on the cash flow side, I would say rental arbitrage. But if you're looking for more long-term equity, like long-term rentals plus also doing cash flow, then purchasing would be a better option. So with that being said, guys, hopefully you guys saw the difference between purchasing rentals and also rental arbitrage. If you're looking to do both or either or, we're gonna start making a course for you guys where I will have all my shared knowledge and how we're able to make over 6 figures in Airbnb. So with that being said, guys, we'll have it in the links in the description box below for you to be on the waiting list. And waiting list people will have almost 50% off before it gets launched to the market. So with that being said, guys, and if you're on the wait list, it's gonna be way cheaper than those when we go on market. So with that being said, guys, make sure you guys like, and if you like content just like this, make sure you guys subscribe. And with that being said, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.